Welcome to The Grind with Chris, where raw conversations meet real growth with life-changing perspectives.
In previous episodes, we've been talking about the power people. Episode 8 was about adders, how people add value to your life, how they help your life. They bring good and positive feedback into your life. Subtractors, we talked about how they take away from you. Sometimes they can do it slowly. Sometimes they do it quickly, but they're always trying to take something away from you. Now, we're going to talk about multipliers. Multipliers is something that I love to talk about because that's my goal in life, is to be a multiplier to others. Now, multipliers amplify your life. They bring out the best in you. They want you to be better than you think that you could be. They encourage you. Multipliers are very few. There's not many in your lifetime. And most of the time, we don't even notice that they're multipliers because we're too stubborn or we're not paying attention to them. Because they will discipline us. They will challenge us. And when we're not ready, we go and we resist it. We try to push it away because, no, they don't know what they're talking about. Nah, I don't need your help right now. But the problem is that most of the time, we don't realize that someone is a multiplier until it's too late. They can't help us anymore. And then you look back on it and you're like, man, I should have listened to him. First of all, we got to give the credit to Dr. Verna Price. She is the author of The Power of People. It was her book that I read while in prison. I cannot take credit for any of the stuff that is in these episodes. All I'm trying to do is teach you from my perspective in a way that might explain it a little bit better. She's very educated. She's very good with words. And sometimes people like me and people, I would say, a little less educated than me don't fully understand somebody who has a degree because they use big words and the way they explain it, it's not in a street way. I talk and I say things because I'm a street kid. I know how to talk the slang and I know how to survive being out on the streets. And so I can relate to people that are out there because that's what I was. That's who I am. But I strongly suggest that you go and you pick up her book right here. It's not expensive and it's a very easy read, but it's something that you can carry with you and learn and be able to obtain the message that she's trying to convey, probably a little better than I can explain it. As I said, I'm not a doctor. I believe she's a doctor in education, somewhere along those lines. So she's a little better at teaching. Plus, she's got years and years of standing up in front of people, and I do not. Not yet. Who changed the direction of my life? At the time, I didn't know that this man was a multiplier in my life. He still is very much an adder in my life. But he's not in a position because he's retired to be a multiplier anymore. Now all he can do is share his wisdom with me, and he compliments me, and he tells me how I'm doing good. And you'll see him on a lot of my Facebook posts. You'll see him on a lot of posts that I put other places. He's always on there, and he's uplifting me and telling me he knew that I could do it. And he's a very important man in my life. Sometimes a little more important than the other parents that I have. His name is James Cooper, and he is a man that will be remembered by a lot of people when he's gone. He was a man who gave people like me second, third, fourth chances. He never gave up on me, even when I had given up on myself several times. I also have another multiplier in my life that I would say is probably my boss. And he sees what's good in me. He's given me chances. And right now, I haven't been too great about it because I'm not happy there no more. But this man has continually gave me positivity. He's continually told me how good I'm doing. He's put me in a position as a supervisor, even when he didn't have to. A lot of people take people like me who have been in trouble. A lot of people take people who have been in drugs and they count us out. Oh, he's a felon. We can't have him around. But nobody ever bothers to care what situations we were put in order to commit those felonies. Sometimes we have to do what we have to do. And for people to sit there and automatically be like, oh, I can't be around him. He's a felon. It's ridiculous, because it's not like I'm just sitting there every day going out and committing crimes. I was put in a situation that I had to get out of, and I went back to the lifestyle that I remember. But anyways, this is not what this is about. This show is about people who amplify you. And multipliers are so powerful. They are always the ones who look out for you. And sometimes we don't even look out for our own selves. And they will tell you, oh, I told you so. They will not hold your hand. Sometimes they put you out there to see if you can live what you've been taught. And there's many times where he told me things that I didn't want to listen. Many times that they have told me something and I'm just like blowing it off. I wish that I would have listened more when that time was being taught to me. I wish that I would have known to utilize that time, because it goes away fast. And the thing about multipliers, you only get a few in a lifetime. Don't mess it up. Some people help us to do more. They help us to become more. Adders make life better. Multipliers make you better. So what is a multiplier? A multiplier is someone who expands your potential. Someone who gives you encouragement and always uplifts you when you need it. They're constantly pushing you. And so that's why you resist, because you don't want to be pushed. But you need it. That's the only way we grow, and we can grow faster. And as I said in my angel dust story, he was only doing what he knew I was capable of doing. But instead of knowing and accepting it, I turned away from it. I went back to smoking weed and at first spice because I didn't think I could handle it. But he wouldn't have gave it to me if I couldn't handle it. And to this day, when I talk to this man, I tell him how I'm sorry. I've apologized to him many times because I cost the company a lot. I gave up, and I wish I didn't. But multipliers, they teach you. They raise your standards. They put you on a level that nobody else will, because they know what you're capable of doing and that you can do it. They see possibilities that you don't see. Multipliers will see more in you most of the time before you ever see it in yourself. And as I said, this man should have gave up on me several times. There's times where I walked off the job on him. There's times where I yelled at him, gave him the finger, walked away. And actually, the last time before he moved me up to North Dakota and gave me another chance, I flipped him off on the job site and walked off. And he still called me up and said, I need you to come to North Dakota. I need you to come work for me. These guys won't give up on you most of the time unless you absolutely resist them. If you're sitting there pushing back so much, eventually they're going to get tired of it and they'll move on to somebody else. They'll go and multiply somebody who wants to take it, somebody who wants to listen to them, who's willing to learn. The thing that I've learned is growth rarely happens alone. And it is so much harder to do it when you're by yourself. Trust me, I know. I've had to do most of this all by myself. He is past his age of being able to do too much. I actually go and help him with a lot of things these days because he's an old Vietnam vet. His time is coming. And so now I try and go and help him out the best that I can, and I go try and spend time with him because I'm going to miss that time eventually. And a lot of us stay where we are because we don't have people to challenge us. If nobody's there to challenge you, you're never going to grow. You're never going to go past where you are now. You've got to have people in your life who are pushing you, people who are trying to tell you to do better. A lot of the time, our parents can be multipliers, especially if you have decent parents and they want the best for you. But what do? Nah, they don't know what they're talking about. Nah, I don't have to listen to my parents. Trust me, I got one right now, 17 years old. He doesn't want to listen to anything we say. All I'm trying to do is teach him how to be better, how to amplify his life more and more. He doesn't want nothing to do with it, just like I didn't. And I wish that when we were younger, that we would have listened. Because the one thing I'll tell you is as I get older, the smarter my parents were. They knew things and tried telling me things, and I didn't want to listen to them at all. And as I've gotten older, I've went up to my mom and said, you were right. You were so much right about a lot of these things. Even with all the bad habits and all the drinking and stuff that they did, they still had a lot to teach me. But I blew them off. I didn't listen. Being a multiplier excites me. It's something that I'm going to work for. It's something that I want to do. And eventually, I hope to be able to have like camps and stuff like that where I can go and help, because we have to help the children. We have to give them something to look forward to instead of all this negativity we're seeing around the world. We need to be multipliers in the children's lives. We need to show them what it's like. Not just be adders, but multiply. Show them the potential of the life that they can live. I didn't have that growing up. Most of us didn't. Even in school, I don't really see a whole lot of teachers as multipliers. They should be. But a lot of teachers, I see them as adders. They're adding to you. They add value. But none of them really push you. Half the time, a lot of them are quick to give up on you if you don't put in the full potential of what they want. We need more multipliers in this world. Multipliers help people accomplish things they never could imagine. I have another multiplier in my life right now that I've been resisting. And granted, I'm not resisting them because I don't think that they know what they're talking about. They do. You can go on and watch plenty of videos by Dr. Billy Alsbrooks, and you can see this man is very powerful. He knows how to say words that cut through your soul. And I'm in a class with him right now. And I think we just passed 4 weeks. And I've done nothing but resist what he has to say. My body and my mind are like, I don't know. When I know that he's right. I know what he's saying is the truth. But I'm being too stubborn to listen to any of it because I think I have it all figured out doing this. When I know that this guy has impacted more in life than I have ever. But I'm coming for you. But he is constantly trying to teach me stuff, and I've been so busy doing this, I haven't been paying attention to the class that I paid for. I'm behind that group because I'm so focused on trying to build my following. I'm so focused on trying to multiply in other people's lives that I'm not giving this multiplier the full attention he deserves. But multipliers give you transformation. They help you to become something way better than what you are right now. And yeah, sometimes when they're in a financial situation, it's a lot better. It can help a lot more because they can reach a lot more. But you don't have to have money to be an adder. You don't have to have money to be a multiplier. You have to care. You have to want to see that person do good. And you can't be like, oh, well, I'll help him do good, but he can't be better than me. No. Like I will help him, but heaven forbid if he becomes better than me. And that's a mentality we got to get past. I hope that I talk to people in a way that one day they're better than I am, because that means I did a good job. It's the same way as when I was a supervisor at oil field, or I'm a supervisor now. If I train somebody and they become faster and better than me, then that means I was a pretty good trainer. That means that I was doing a good job of teaching them what to do. It's the same with multiplying. If I go and multiply people and then they go out and they multiply people who are better than me, that means I did a good job at multiplying them. And then they did a good job at multiplying their people. Multipliers are people who help to shape my life today. They are the people who helped me to get out of the mentality that I wasn't good enough. To get out of the mentality, oh, I'm from a poor family. I'm from a drunk family. My family did drugs, so I'm never going to be nothing. I'm a nobody. Nobody's ever going to remember me when I die. But that's a mentality that we don't need. That's a dividing mentality. And you're going to see in the next episode about dividers because they're dangerous. And we don't want to be dividers. As I stated in the last episode, and I'll state right now, everybody who is divided in my life, I have pushed out. And if I meet dividers to this day, if I see that I can't help them, if I see that they're stuck in their ways, they're gone. I have no time for you. I have no time for people who want to stay where they're at. People who don't want to grow. People who don't want to change. It's not that I hate you. I don't hold no animosity against you. It's just the fact that I have valuable time and I'm going to go after the people that want that time. The people who are going to learn from that time and proceed to making themselves better. And so that way they can go and multiply their lives. And I'm not saying you have to go be a public speaker and multiply on other people's lives, but multiply to your wife, multiply to your brothers, multiply to your kids. Go and be a multiplier to the people around you. Don't be a subtractor. You can be an adder, but why not multiply? Why not be and raise the bar even higher? We can do it. And that's what this is all about. That's why I'm teaching you this. So that way we can change our destructive behavior and be positive in people's lives. So with my father-in-law, back then, all I wanted to do was smoke weed. Back then, all I wanted to do was party and do drugs. And he used to always have me do these things that I absolutely hated. Sometimes I would resist it. Sometimes I'd get mad and say under my breath, like, why do I got to do this? Why can't somebody else do it? I continued to resist everything he was teaching me, but he kept pushing me and pushing me. Even when I gave up, he let me come back with open arms. Pushed me again. And I took so much. And a lot of the things that I'm using to build this, a lot of things that I'm using to, is stuff he taught me. He is the most positive role model in my life ever. I owe that man more than he ever knows. And I hope that he understands that. I try and tell him, but he's old-fashioned. He's from Louisiana, so he's not a very sentimental guy. He doesn't have an emotional mentality to him. I know he cares. He just doesn't show it that well. But I've always been good with computers. I've always been good at fixing things. I'm not mechanical in any way, but I'm very good on computers, programs, Adobe, resumes, all of that stuff. Fleet manager. That's just stuff I do now. And even when I was out there pulling wrenches in the oil field, he knew, oh, I got to get him out of there. I got to get him to where he's most comfortable. And that's what he did when he brought me up here. He put me where he knew that I would excel, where I would grow. But the problem is that I was just doing too many jobs at once that I couldn't handle it no more. And he just kept multiplying. And I should have soaked it up. I should have just held on. But that wasn't my mentality. I didn't know how to do that growing up. Anytime anything got hard for me, it was like, I'm going back to smoking weed. Usually it was like, oh, I'm stressed out. I can do a little bit. Then the next week I'm doing a little more. Then the next week I'm doing a little more. Then now I'm back to being in my subtracting and dividing behavior instead of I can do it. I can be positive. And that's what I'm trying to do now, especially even at my own job. I try to multiply. I try to teach the guys, but I work with a few guys who they don't necessarily want to learn either. I got one who's very, very against change. He does not like change at all. I got another one who's got a college degree, so he thinks he's even smarter than me. He thinks that I have nothing to teach him because, I'm from the streets and he's went to college. But then there's other ones that they're doing better than me. They're faster than me on those routes. They work harder than me on those routes, but I trained them. But as I've stated, is right now, I'm just not happy. And so I go to work and I'm not being the multiplier that I thought I was. I'm not being the guy that I need to be for them. And I don't know how to fix it at this moment. And I think a lot of it is because this is what I want to do. I want to go out there and talk to people and help people and not feed them alcohol, not let them soak in their miseries. But I got to do what I got to do. And so I need to learn from what I'm talking about right now. I only started thinking about this as I've done the episodes. And that now that I've seen these episodes and I'm remembering all this stuff, I'm realizing, man, my attitude ain't so good. Am I adding? Because I feel like I'm subtracting. Maybe I should change my attitude and become the better me and help them to become multipliers in their life. Because if they see me positive and I'm being positive than them, I wonder what's going to happen. But all this pushing me and helping me to be stronger started to eventually get me to build my self-confidence. It eventually helped me to be like, I mean, if he thinks that I'm this way, maybe I am, and I just don't know how to accept it. If he thinks that I could do this, maybe I should keep going and keep doing it. He pushed me and pushed me and pushed me. I only wish that I would have listened at those times instead of thinking and looking back and having regret that I didn't. Sometimes other people see our potential way before we do. And if they are, look at it and learn from it. Don't resist it. Don't push back, because the multiplier's time in your life doesn't last forever. It's not always here. And so now I'm going to go to the other multiplier in my life, and he's my boss. I'll call him in a bad attitude sometimes because I'm not happy that something happened or something else ain't happening, and he's always positive. He lets me vent. He talks to me. He sits me down. He starts reversing questions, and he's so positive. Sometimes it irritates me. It really does, because he can take the most bad situation and look at the brightest part of it. And I wish I could do that on everything. And I'm doing it. I'm starting to learn how to do it and make the best out of it. But each and every day, he's challenging me to be better. He's challenged me to improve where I need to. We used to sit there and text each other little jokes and stuff, and then we started to realize maybe we shouldn't make those jokes. Maybe we shouldn't be negative towards things, and maybe we shouldn't be subtracting. And so now he's turned really positive, and now I'm trying to, and it's clashing a little bit because it's behaviors that we've learned. Again, I'm resisting his multiplication. I'm letting him add, but the multiplication causes you to look at yourself. It causes you to question things that sometimes you don't want to look at. Sometimes you don't want to ask those questions because you don't want those answers. Multipliers create opportunities. Multipliers create growth. Multipliers are one of the best things that we can be in this lifetime. But we resist them because, as I've stated, and I will state, until people start to realize that growth is uncomfortable. We don't want to grow, so we push them away. As I stated, I got someone where I work that he doesn't want to grow, so he's always uncomfortable when I'm trying to help him grow. He doesn't take it as me trying to help him. He takes it as me attacking him. But I just want what's best for him. But sometimes we have to look at a situation and be like, yeah, maybe I should do this a little differently. Multipliers will challenge your excuses. They'll challenge your lies. They raise your expectations. They refuse to accept mediocrity. They're not going to let you stay in one place, and they're not going to let you think that you are never going to grow anymore. They're going to keep raising the bar. They're going to keep pushing you. They're going to keep asking you to be better. Good advice often annoys us before we allow it to help us. And I've had many times, I don't even know if I could sit here and tell you stories, because they would just keep going and keep going and keep going on how many times I've resisted advice. How many times I've resisted people trying to teach me something. I even do it to this day. I'm not perfect. I still make decisions. I still make choices that aren't the brightest. I still don't want to listen to certain things that people tell me, because change is hard for me too. I've just learned that sometimes when somebody says something and I don't necessarily take it right then, as I'm driving away or as I have time to think about it, I'm like, they're right. And sometimes I'll tell them on the phone, or I'll come back and tell them, like, you were right. I resisted you because I should have tried to be better. So it's okay if you resisted at first, but pay attention to it. And once you start to realize that you are the one resisting, you are the one that's pushing them back, let them know. Tell them that it's your fault. And you know that that's what they're wanting to do. Because as I said, if you continually push back, you continually don't listen, you don't let them know that they're right in any way, when you know that they are, they'll eventually just push back and they'll go help somebody else. And you don't want that with multipliers, because there are not many of them. You're only faced with a few multipliers in your entire life. Utilize them. Soak up their knowledge. Cling to them. It'll be worth it. Many times that people told me not to go back and do drugs. A lot of times people said, don't go back and hang out with that person. Don't go over to that house because you know what they do. I pushed back. I didn't. Sure, I went over there a few times before I started doing anything. The next thing you know, I'm going back. I'm smoking. I'm snorting. I'm doing all these things that they warned me not to do. Ignoring a lot of the advice that I was given, a lot of the times that I was told not to do it, usually cost me a ticket, handcuffs, prison. Thank God that my wife is stuck by me. She should have left a long time ago because of the stuff that I wasn't listening to her about. The things that she was trying to teach me that nope, she don't know what she's talking about. She's a sheltered person. She doesn't know how to live. She doesn't know what it's like to live on the streets. And then once it all happens and I look at her, I'm like, you were right. Just because somebody hasn't been or done the same thing that you're doing does not mean that they can't teach you. Does not mean that they don't have something for you to learn. Multipliers are disguised in the weirdest and oddest people that you'll ever know. You might not recognize them at first. Wisdom is something that you need. And let me get this perfectly clear. You cannot go out and gain wisdom by reading a book. You do not go out and gain wisdom by talking to somebody. The stuff you put into you, the stuff that you learn, eventually becomes wisdom after years of living. Wisdom takes years to gain. That's why older people are wise, because they've lived a life. They've learned it. And that's me. I've lived a pretty rough life. I've made a lot of bad mistakes. And now as I'm getting older, I have the wisdom to go and help you. I have the wisdom to point and say, don't do that. It's not good for you. It's not going to lead you anywhere well. It never does. Trust me. I've walked off that bridge several times. And for some reason, I had a mat at the bottom that kept saving me just a little bit. I have friends that will never gain wisdom. And this is a lot of the reason why I say that I like to live. Because as you get older, you start to realize, hey, I'm getting wiser. I'm smarter. That's why, say, if you have a young boxer and an older boxer, the older boxer can stand up to a younger boxer for the most part. Why? Because he's wise. He's learned. He's more relaxed. When we're younger, we're all about go, 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 go. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to punch him 100 times. Say, look at Oscar De La Hoya. Look at the younger Oscar De La Hoya who swung and was fast and fast. Now, if you saw Oscar De La Hoya fight, which he doesn't really anymore, he's more slower, he's more strategic with his punches than he was when he first came out. Because he's gained wisdom, he's gotten the years of knowledge to be able to be a little smarter about when he punches, when he doesn't, when he's going to get tired. I mean, that's my analogy is with a boxer. Adders encourage, multipliers develop. Adders support growth, multipliers actively push growth. Both are very valuable. Both you need to keep around. Both of them you need to become. As I've stated, I had a guy in prison, he was an adder. He was still a mess up. He still made a choice that put him into prison, so he wasn't exactly multiplying, because there's times where we were there, even the man, and being as godly as he was, he would resist, or he would sit in there and somebody would say something to him and he would get mad. And most of the time I spent a lot of my time in the cell. I read a lot. So I didn't go out to the floor a whole lot to eat. I did to talk to him, but I did not go out there and hang out. I didn't do spades. I didn't play on Candy Crush on tablets. I utilized that time to learn about things that I wanted to learn about. Religion. I read books that helped on economics, books that helped on self-improvement. I even read normal storytelling books. I studied and studied and studied for that 16 months. I did 2 years, but I only had to serve 16 behind bars. And I'm glad. I didn't want any longer than that. That was long enough for me to say, no, I'm not going back. It's not for me. I don't want to be there. So he was an adder, and then I got out, and I've always had multipliers. My big brother, he's a pretty big adder, but he's pretty close to moving up to multiplier. He's got a lot of wisdom. He lived a harder life than I ever thought of. And so he uses that to teach his life experiences, and he's constantly uplifting me. Sometimes he'll say things that it just makes me think. And at times, nah, he don't know what he's talking about. Then I start to think about it. I start to listen to it, and I'm like, it really starts to change me. And that's what adders and multipliers do. They cause you to look at things and question them and decide if you need to be better about it. In order to find multipliers, you have to become teachable. You have to show up consistently. You have to keep your word. Do what you say. Listen, the number one thing that we as people need to make sure that we have is integrity. You have to be who you say you're going to be at all times, and be that person. Don't be somebody when people are around and then go and be somebody else. Be a man or woman. Be a human being of your word. It's something that all people need to understand. Your word is all you've got. Be somebody who keeps it. Take responsibility. Be accountable. Take ownership. Accept what has happened. Move forward. Forgive yourself or somebody and grow past it. You have to seek feedback. You have to go and listen to what people are telling you. If it's something you don't want to hear it anyways. Feed off of it. Learn from it. We have to take criticism, even if it's not what we want to hear. That's how we grow. That's how we learn not to be that way. Because if it bothers them, it's probably going to bother somebody else. If you're doing something to this person and they don't like it, they're probably not going to like it over here either. Don't stay in this destructive behavior. Don't stay subtracting or dividing. Listen to what people have to say and grow from it. Become better. Pursue growth. Chase it. It is so much better. It is such a better life when we grow and we begin to notice that growth. It's the greatest feeling in the world to know that you were somewhere, you were off sleeping on the ground, You were selling drugs out of the trap house. You were going and jacking cars. And then you decided no more. And you started going over to this circle and being this person. And you finally realized, I like this person a lot better. I'm glad I don't have to look over my shoulder no more. I'm glad I don't have to walk around and carry protection with me at all times. There's no life in that life. Most of those people don't get to see a longer life. It's a hard life to get out of. It's a hard life to be in. Want to change, want to do better, and do better. Become better. Be a multiplier. Help people grow. Challenge other people. And not challenge them to a fight. Don't go challenge them that you could do more drinking than they can. Challenge them that maybe you're sober and not drinking. So they don't have to either, because you are proving it doesn't have to be done. Encourage actions. Encourage people for what they're doing. If you see somebody doing something positive, if you see somebody adding or multiplying, encourage that. Tell them that they're doing good. It's nice to compliment people. Listen, loving people is a lot better of a way to live than hating people. Having hatred in your heart is not a way to live. There is nothing good about it. Share lessons. Teach people. Why do you think you see people who are older and they're like, oh, back in my day, or hey, I did this, I have my father-in-law who was in Vietnam, and he'll tell me lessons about Vietnam. He doesn't tell me the bad things about it, I'll tell you that. He's constantly saying, well, I did this in Vietnam. I did that in Vietnam. And he's teaching me lessons that I can learn from. So we need to listen to lessons, but also teach lessons, share them with people, help people. If you've been in a situation like me, I've been in a situation. So when I see somebody struggling, when I see somebody doing that, I try to talk to them. I try to tell them, hey, I've been there. It's not a good path. Let's get away from it. Don't follow this because I've done it. Invest in people. And I'm not talking about financially. Of course, if you can invest in people and they got a worse situation, more power to you. But I'm not saying walk around and just hand out money. Giving your knowledge, giving your advice, being there for people, talking to them can prevent them from going and committing suicide, going and robbing that guy, going back to prison because they had to do something. We all have to invest in the people around us. We have to invest in the people that we can in order to make society better. Because me personally, I think society is headed downhill more than it is uphill. The way I see people treat people, the way that I see others talk to people, they're not investing in them. They're subtracting them. Some of them are dividing. Let's turn that around. That's what this whole 4-part series is about, is finding that negative behavior that we may not be seeing that we're doing. We may not be thinking about it, and turning it around and going in a different direction. Let's add and multiply. Believe in people's potential, even when they don't. If you know somebody is very smart, if you know someone is capable of doing things, believe in it. Uplift them. Push them towards it. They're going to resist you. They're going to push back a little bit, but it's okay. Just keep being that positive person. Keep helping them to see what they might not see, because eventually they will see it. It might not be right now, but it will be. And of course, we have to look back in the mirror. Am I being a multiplier? Am I being a subtractor? Am I adding value? Am I challenging excuses? Am I investing in others? Am I helping to develop people around me? As I've stated, my ultimate goal is to be a multiplier. My ultimate goal is to go around the United States, even the world, and talk to people and invest my time in them and help them. A lot like Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Billy Alsbrooks, Gary Vee, These people see that we need to invest in our people. We need to help people become better. They see the same thing that I see. We're not in the best of situations. We're not headed in the best of ways. So if we can go and we can help change lives, that's what we need to do. All of us. Life is not about just us. Life is about finding people that we can multiply in their life and becoming that multiplier. Helping to add value. Helping to amplify their life. Not subtract from it. Not divide. Okay, as I've done in the past episodes, let's take that list. If you don't know what list I'm talking about, please go back to episode 7. And we made a list at the end of it. But look at that list of the 10 people, 15 people, how many ever people you put on there. You put next to them, add, subtract, multiply, divide. Now, look at the ones that you put in there that you're a multiplier. Look at the ones that you put are multiplying in your life. And you might not have them in your list. And if you don't, what's that mean? That means to go find one. Go be one. But find those multipliers. I would say call them up. Thank them for being there, for encouraging you, for helping you. Help them to understand that the effort they put in was well worth it. They weren't just wasting their time. And then once you do that, go out and find someone you can multiply in their life today. There's many ways to multiply in people's lives. It ain't about giving money. You can go and give advice. You can go and walk with them and talk to them and just help them through situations. If a lot more of us came multipliers, if a lot more of us became adders, I bet the suicide rate would drop a little bit. I bet the drug use would drop a little bit. Is it ever going to prevent it all? No. But if we can slow it down even just by one person, we're making an effort. Realize, what lesson have they been trying to teach you? Look back at your last conversation with that multiplier and think, what was he trying to tell me that I should have probably listened to? Then ask how you can go and do that multiplying in their life. Multipliers are rare. Protect those relationships. Learn from those relationships. Become a multiplier. Some people change your circumstances. Multipliers change your future. And so the next episode is going to be something that I don't like to talk about. Multipliers is my favorite subject because I'm fired up about it. It's what I wake up. It's what I think about every day. I want to become, and it's not happening as fast as I would like. Things aren't growing as fast as I would hope. They never do. It's slow, organic growth. So it takes a while, and I'm fine with that. But the next one is dividers. And these are people that we either have to get outside of our life a little bit, or we have to completely cut off. And so we'll discuss that more in the next episode. But remember, go and be a multiplier in somebody's life, because we are our own worst enemies. But we can become our greatest assets. I'll see you in episode 11.